What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, we do a bunch of videos about before and afters from our clients to professional golf swing analysis, videos like this where we're talking about the right hand throughout the backswing and the downswing. So if you're interested in the golf swing, you're interested in golf instruction, this is the perfect channel for you. Like I said, this particular video, we are going to be talking about the right hand movement throughout the backswing and the downswing. So if you're interested in the right hand's role in the release or on the backswing, this is the perfect video for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. So after this video is done, I want you guys to check out the link down below because YouTube does not pay our bills. Actually, our membership site does. So if you want to support the channel and you want to actually get access to a bunch of videos as well, go ahead and check out that link after the video is done. Thank you for watching, and let's go get into the video. So now when you guys are watching YouTube and you're watching videos about the right hand, most of the time you probably just hear an instructor say, you know, this is how you use the right hand on the backswing or the downswing, and that's pretty much it. I don't want our video to be like that. I want our video to be a little bit more in depth. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about how to use the right hand on the backswing for someone who wants to be cross the line at the top. And then also we'll use the same thing, how to use the right hand if you want to be a little bit more laid off at the top. And then from those two top of swing positions, we'll talk about the right hand's role and the movement that it has to have to be able to go down into impact and have the proper release. So if you're interested in having a cross the line top of swing position or more of a laid off cross the line position, or just in general, you want to know how this right hand should be moving, this is going to be a very, very exciting video. Let's start getting into the backswing movement. How do I move that right hand? So when we're talking about the right hand's role on the backswing, whether we're going to be cross the line or laid off, for the takeaway section, which is when the club head is going to be right around parallel to the ground here, the wrist movement in the right wrist will be pretty much identical between the two. So some major key points to the right hand movement in this section are, initially, as I start to move the club head back, I will be having what's called a cocking motion, or basically in America we call it radial deviation, this move right here. Also in the right wrist, I'm going to be having a little bit of this motion right here, which would be more so of a supinating move in the right wrist, or the palm going up to the sky slightly. And then last but not least, this right wrist is going to go more so this way as well, which would be more so of extension is what we call it. So if you take a look at my right hand and as it moves backwards, as I'm moving backwards with the hands, I'm going like this and cocking. I'm also going to be supinating the wrist and then also extending this right wrist. Those are the key fundamental movements for cross the line or laid off, whatever you're doing. You gotta have those movements in the takeaway section. Now, before we go over from the takeaway to the top of the swing, let me do that one more time from the face-on view so you can see what's happening here. So when it comes to the right hand movement, first off, the hand is going to be moving from the setup position to just past the foot, right? So that's going to be a lateral motion of the right hand. As it's doing that, we're going to have that cocking motion, that supinating motion, and then that extension motion in the wrist. So all together, it will look something like this as you do it all together. And then from here, to break down the points one more time, there's going to be that cocking motion, supination motion, extension in the wrist, and then the hands moving past the shoe. That would be the right hand movement there. Now let's start to get into P2 to P4. So now as we move the right hand from P2 to P4, this is really when the cross the line swing and then the laid off swing are going to start to move in different directions. So let's go over the laid off swing first. So as I get to this position 2, as I start to move the right hand up towards the top, what we're going to notice is the main key point here is the club shaft is going to be flattening in this section for the laid off swing, which means that the right wrist right here is moving more and more this way as we approach the top of the swing, right? So that'd be more supination as we approach the top. So from P2 to the top of the swing, the club shaft is flattening and the right wrist is actually supinating to make that happen as we move up to the top. Also, what you'll note here too is the extension amount might increase slightly, but the overall cocking amount, or the radial deviation amount, from P2 to P4 pretty much does not increase anymore. You have the full amount of cocking from P2. So that's going to be the laid off, but let's talk about the cross the line because it's actually quite different. So now if we want to get cross the line at the top, what we're going to find with the right wrist as it starts to move up towards the top is it's actually going to start to pronate, which is the exact opposite motion as the laid off swing towards the top. So that means this right wrist right here, we're gonna see the palm going down towards the sky. That motion right there is called pronation, which then in turn gets the club shaft to get into the desired cross line position like you guys probably want. Now, if you noticed as well, as I'm actually starting to pronate my wrist to the top, the extension degree in my right wrist actually starts to minimize and go away as I approach the top of the swing. And that's a classic thing that you see with the right wrist with a lot of people who are across the line at the top. So to review, quite different, correct? From position 2, if you're laid off, you're gonna see a little bit more of a supinating move to the top and the extension amount might slightly increase. But from position 2 with the cross the line, you're gonna see that pronation amount, and then actually the angle on the right wrist is actually gonna start to go much, much flatter. So very, very important and crucial differences if you wanna get the differences between cross the line and laid off at the top. So now you guys watched and you understand the wrist movements to change the overall club shaft orientation, but you're also probably wondering to yourself, what should the path of the hands do between these two swings? And that's a great question. So when it comes to the laid off swing, from position 2, typically what you're gonna find is the overall path of the hands is gonna look a little bit more kind of up and then rounded off, versus the cross the line from position 2 is gonna go a little bit more in and then towards your head as you get to the top of the swing. That would be the difference in the right hand movement from position 2. So let me demonstrate that. So if I'm gonna be a little bit more laid off, from position 2, you're gonna see the club head initially going a little bit more vertical compared to the cross the line. And then from here, now it starts to round off as it gets to the top of the swing. That would be an ideal right hand movement when you're trying to get more of that laid off position. Now, when you're trying to get that cross the line position from position 2, most players are actually now going to move the hands more inside as they're twisting the club like that. And then as they approach the top, now the hands start to move more back towards the head. That would be a really, really common right hand movement for someone who has crossed the line. So as you can see, pretty drastic difference in the hand path between the two. And it's really important to match up if you want to be cross the line or if you want to be laid off. Make sure to get that right hand movement in terms of the path of the hands in those sections. All right, so now we're gonna start to transition into the downswing and the transition, which is gonna be more so what you guys probably clicked on this video for. So hopefully I can give you some insightful information. So let's go ahead and start off with the laid off swing position and kind of talk about what is the right hand doing, what are the right wrists doing in transition. So from this down the line view, typically what you're expecting from a laid off player is you're trying to see this grip in and the club head, the angle that's created here. You want to see this actually just lower in transition. So that means that the right wrist really is not doing a whole lot. We're not necessarily twisting this way, right? We're not necessarily twisting this way. We're just trying to keep the overall angle that we had at the top, and we're trying to get that to actually lower initially in the transition area. So you should actually just keep the angle with the right wrist. Now, the only thing that you might add a little bit more, and you can see it a little bit more from the face-on view, is in transition, you might see that the upper cock, right, or radial deviation we like to call it, you might see that actually slightly increase in the transition area, right, the lagging motion you might have heard. But other than that, for the laid off player, you should see the right hand really not twist a whole lot. It should just be lowering that club shaft angle, and that's a really key point there. So now, as we get into the cross the line top of swing position, if we have a similar or identical movement as the laid off swing, watch what would happen. If I just lower the club shaft, I'm in a pretty unhittable area right here. The face angle is pointing pretty much directly behind me. The club head is way out towards the golf ball. I would have to do some type of like almost cricket release or something crazy like that to be able to point the face where I want to and have the club head hit the ground where I want to. So as you can see, when I'm across the line at the top, the right hand movement when it comes to the twisting motion on the club shaft has to be drastically different between the laid off. So let's kind of break down exactly what's happening. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube. But before you guys kick off, let me give you some quick wrap up points. So when it comes to the right hand movement throughout the backswing for the cross the line and the laid off, there are some unique differences with the wrist movement. Typically, a lot of the unique differences come from position 2 to position 4. So if you guys want to really know the differences again, make sure to watch this a few times. The more times you watch it, I guarantee you, the more it's gonna make sense and you're gonna be able to pick up on the subtleties of the move. So I highly recommend you to do that. Also, if you guys are continuing to struggle with your golf swing, Well, then check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month program. That's what it's there for. We actually just launched our instructor, Hiroshi, who, if you sign up for his waiting list and are one of the top 10 people to do that, and then take a lesson with them, you guys can actually win a free lifetime Kiwi Platinum membership, which means you're gonna get access to all the videos we have on our membership site and all the future videos for free, never have to pay again. And last but not least, with that giveaway, you have a chance to win a free round lesson with myself and Hiroshi. So if you guys are struggling with your golf swings, you're tired of playing bad, you want to get better, check out the waiting list for Hiroshi's son. He still has a few spots available, so make sure to sign up, be one of those top 10 players, get all the benefits, and we'd love to help you out with the 6-month program. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next video.